Have you ever walked past a small, unassuming bakery and smelled something so wonderful it felt like magic? Well, what if it actually was? Welcome to the Hearth, a cozy little shop in a town that's just a little bit grey, run by a baker named Silas. By day, Silas is just a quiet man who makes delicious bread and pastries. But by night, under the light of the full moon, he becomes something more. Silas is a man who carries a quiet sadness, a ghost of a dream he once let go. He's kind, observant, and deeply empathetic, pouring his whole heart into his baking, hoping to bring a little comfort to his customers. He thinks that's all he's doing until one fateful night. A brilliant full moon hangs in the sky, its light flooding his small kitchen. As he bakes a simple apple tart for himself, he dozes off, lulled to sleep by the warmth of the oven. When he wakes, he finds the tart glowing with a soft, silvery light. Confused but curious, he takes a bite. In an instant, his kitchen melts away, and he's standing in the middle of his childhood orchard, the air thick with the scent of ripe apples and the warmth of a forgotten summer. The memory is so vivid, so real, and just as quickly as it came, it's gone. He looks at the glowing tart, then at the moon. He's just stumbled upon a secret ingredient he never knew he had: moonlight. The very next day, a young woman named Ilara rushes into the bakery. She's an astronomer, bright and ambitious, but she's completely frustrated. All this city light, she laments. I'll never discover a new star if I can't even see the ones we already have. A spark of an idea lights up in Silas's mind. On a whim, he hands her a scone he'd baked the night before, still humming with lunar energy. Here, he says, try a starlight scone. On the house? That evening, Ilara sits on her rooftop, the disappointing glow of the city washing out the sky. She takes a bite of the scone. Suddenly, the world goes quiet. The city lights dim, and the sky above her explodes into a breathtaking tapestry of stars. They seem so close, so brilliant, she feels like she could reach out and touch them. For that one glorious night, the universe unveils its secrets just for her. With newfound clarity, she furiously maps a new celestial body, a discovery she'd only dreamed of. The next morning, the magic is gone, but the data on her charts is real. Ecstatic, Ilara tells everyone about the lucky bakery. Soon, a quiet line begins to form outside the hearth. Silas, seeing the pure joy he can bring, decides to lean into his accidental magic. He begins baking under the full moon with intention, listening to the quiet, unspoken desires of his customers and tailoring his creations just for them. The town starts to change, one pastry at a time. A batch of what he calls memory buns finds its way to Mr. Abernathy, a retired clockmaker living a life of silent, lonely precision. He longs for the days when his house was filled with the chaotic joy of his family. That evening, as he eats the bun, his quiet home fills with the phantom laughter of his children and the warm, comforting presence of his wife. For a few hours, he isn't alone anymore. For a shy young girl, terrified of public speaking, Silas bakes courage croissants. The next day at school, she gives her speech with a confidence that surprises everyone, including herself. The town is waking up, filled with little pockets of wonder. It's beautiful chaos, and Silas is at the center of it, a reluctant weaver of dreams. But there's a catch. The magic is as fleeting as the moonlight it's born from. The dreams always fade by morning. For most, they leave behind a sweet nostalgia, a warm glow of what could be. But for some, the return to reality is a sharp, bitter pang of loss. Silas starts to worry. Is he a miracle worker, or is he just selling a cruel tease? Is he giving people hope, or just a more painful awareness of what they don't have? His fears are realized when a man who had tasted a night of fame as a celebrated musician storms into the bakery. "What good is one night?" he shouts, his face twisted in anger. "You didn't give me a dream, you just showed me a door and locked it. It's false hope." The words hit Silas like a physical blow. Devastated, he locks the door to his bakery. He's decided the magic has to stop. He's causing more pain than joy. He's in the dark, packing up his flour and pans, when Ilara finds him. She holds up a framed certificate. It's her published star chart, the official documentation of her discovery, and the name of the new star, the Hearth. "Silas," she says softly, "you have to understand. You didn't just show me the stars that night." She taps her chest. "You gave me the courage to see them for myself. The dream was temporary, but the change it made in me, that's permanent. It was the spark I needed." And in that moment, Silas finally understands. He was never meant to be a wish granter. The magic wasn't about creating a perfect, permanent reality. It was a catalyst. It was meant to give people a taste of what was possible, a glimpse of their own potential, just enough to ignite their own journey. The Moonlight pastries weren't the destination, they were the map. On the next full moon, the warm light of the hearth glows once again. Silas opens his doors, not as a dream giver, but as a dream inspector. He still bakes his special pastries, but now he does so with a new purpose. Not to fulfill wishes, but to empower people to chase them. The town is subtly brighter now. Not because of magic, but because its people are filled with a new sense of purpose. Mr. Abernathy, inspired by his evening of phantom memories, started a weekly toy-making workshop for the neighborhood kids. His house is now filled with real laughter every single week. People are starting book clubs, taking art classes, and chasing their own stars. Silas still bakes under the moon, but his heart is light, and his daytime pastries, though not technically magical, are now made with a secret ingredient he can share with everyone: boundless, infectious hope. As the film closes, we see him and Ilara sitting together, sharing a simple, non-magical loaf of bread, looking up at the very real, very beautiful stars, perfectly content. Thank you so much for joining us on this magical journey. If you enjoyed this story, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales that spark the imagination. See you next time.